Hello everyone, this is Vivek and this is my next video on the full length test that you've taken today. And let's get started with our video today. And as usual, you'll have 35 questions to solve. Probably you would have seen these questions for today. And let's get started with this question. First question, Rakesh took a loan for 7 years at a rate of 6% per annum. If total interest paid was rupees 2100, then the principal was. So questions like this, though it doesn't mention if it is simple interest or compound interest, very clearly we could come to a conclusion it is simple interest. So since it's simple interest, all that we have to do is 7 years he has taken 6% interest. So per year, if it is 6%, for 7 years you would have got a total interest amount of 42%. So you would have got a 42% interest. So the interest is 42%. The amount that he gets is rupees 2100. They're asking you for the principal value. The principal value is always the 100%. That is something that is invested. So invested is always 100%. So if it is 42%, it is 2100, then 100% is what? Either cross multiply or else 42 divided by 2 gives you 21, so double zeros. Similarly, if 100 divided by 2 gives you 50 and double zeros. So our answer should be 5000. So it's a very simple question. So next question. An amount of rupees 8000 becomes 9200 in 3 years at simple interest. It's very clearly decided, telling you that it is simple interest. So if the rate of interest is increased by 3%, it would be amounting to. So the rate of interest is getting increased by 3% per year. So if it is for a year, it's 3%. Then for 3 years, it would amount to 9%. So 9% extra. So if it is 9% extra, we know 8000 is the amount that is invested by him, or is the principal that is invested by him. So then 8000, 9% of 8000 gets added if we add 3% to that, because 3% every year. So for 3 years, it would be 9%. So 100% is 8000, then 9% value would become 9. 100% is 8000. 9% value is going to be 9 into 8000 divided by 100. It's nothing but rupees 720 extra. Apart from the actual how much does it become? Apart from this 9200, it becomes that 720 extra. So we would get the answer as 9200 plus 720 because the interest gets added. So our answer is going to be 9920. Again, a very simple question. Next question. For how many years should rupees 1200 be invested at 10% per annum in order to earn the same simple interest as it earned by investing rupees 1800 at 12% per annum for 5 years? It's very clearly telling you he is investing 1800 for 5 years at 12% per annum. If it is for 5 years, 12% per annum, the interest that he's going to get is going to be 60%. So 60%, we know he's investing 1800. So 100% value is 1800. Then 60% of that would be what is the question? 60% of that is what he's getting as the amount, that is how much he gets as interest. So our answer is going to be cross multiplying gives you rupees 1080. So this 1080, his question is, if a person has to achieve 1080 by investing 1200, that means the principal, if the principal is going to be 1200, the principal is going to be 1200 and then it is 100%, then 1080 would be achieved in how many years? At 10% interest is the question. And when we cross multiply, we get the answer as 90%. 1080 is going to be 90% of 1200, which means if I have to get 90%, then as 10%, 10% every year, it takes how many years? It takes 9 years exactly. A very simple question. Probably what he means is asking you in this question is 1800 is invested at 12% per annum for 5 years. If he invests 1800 at 12% per annum for 5 years, he gets 1080 as interest. This 1080 can be achieved by investing 1200 for how many years? At 10% per annum is the question. So we know 1080, 1200 is your 100% value, then 1080 is nothing but 90% of that. So 90% is what we achieve in how many years? At 10% per annum. We at 10% every year, simple interest just gets added every year, the same 10%, 10%, 10%. It doesn't grow like compound interest. So if it is simple interest, it's going to be 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. So 90% can be achieved in 9 years. A very simple question. Next one. At a certain rate of simple interest, a certain sum doubles itself in 10 years. It will triple itself in. So it is given very clearly it's simple interest. a certain rate of simple interest, the certain sum doubles itself in 10 years, which means if the sum is rupees 100, for it to become doubles itself, which means if it has to become 200, which means it has to get increased by rupees 100. For it to get increased by rupees 100, it takes how many years? 10 years. It will triple itself in the sense this 100 has to become 300. So it has to be increased by 200. For it to be increased by 100, it takes 10 years. For to increase by 200, it will take very easy, it's 20 years. That is the question. A very simple technique. 100 is the investment that you make for it to become 200, which means it has to get increased by 100. For it to get increased by 100, it takes 10 years. Then it has to triple to 300, which means it has to increase by 200. It takes how many years? It's going to be very simple. It's 20 years. Next question. A simple interest on a sum of money will be 6,000 after 10 years. If the principal is tripled after 5 years, what will be the total interest at the end of the 10th year is the question. A simple interest on a sum of money will become rupees 6,000 after 10 years. So if it will become rupees 10,000 after 6,000 after 10 years, 6,000 in 10 years, 6,000 in 10 years. So that means for every year, each year, for 1 year, it gives you rupees 600. For each year, it's becoming increased by rupees 600. The principal is tripled after 5 years, which means we know if in case it will be 6,000 in 10 years. If the principal is tripled after 5 years, which means first 5 years it's going to be 600 into 5 only. So it is going to be 3,000. And the next 5 years it's going to be tripled, which means instead of 600 we would get it as 600 into 3, which is 1,800 into 5. So it gives you 9,000. So our amount that we get is going to be 12,000. So the question is the total interest at the end of the 10th year would become 12,000. Instead of 6,000, it will become 12,000. Sorry, the options are not given here, but the answer here is going to be 12,000. A very simple question. Next question. If a person walks at 14 kilometers per hour, instead of 12 kilometers per hour, he would have walked 20 kilometers more. The actual distance traveled by him. So it's very clear, instead of 14 kilometers per hour, if he had traveled 12 kilometers per hour, instead of 12, a person walks 14 kilometers per hour instead of 12 kilometers per hour, if he had walked 14 kilometers per hour, he would have traveled 20 kilometers more, which means 14 minus 12 gives you 2 kilometers extra. So he would have traveled 2 kilometers per hour extra, which means for 1 hour he travels 2 kilometers extra. If he has to travel 20 kilometers, it would take how many hours of travel? It's very simple. It's going to be 10 hours of travel. If you had traveled 10 hours, what is the actual distance? Actual distance is nothing but the 12 kilometers. If you had traveled at 12 kilometers, what would be the actual distance? So if at 12 kilometers per hour, if you had traveled for 10 hours, you would have traveled 120 kilometers. That's the actual distance. But instead, he travels another 20 kilometers extra. He travels 140. But their question is only actual. Actual is going to be 120. The new distance is 140. So next question. A train can travel at 50% faster rate than a car. Both starts from point A at the same time. This question looks slightly bigger. We'll come back to this question at the end of this video. The 7th question at the last. We'll go on to the other smaller problems and we'll come back to this question. So excluding stoppages, the speed of a bus is 54 kilometers per hour. Including stoppages, it's 45 kilometers per hour. For how many minutes does the bus stop per hour is the question. So we know 54 kilometers per hour excluding stoppages. Including stoppages is only 45. So which means the same bus, if it is not stopping, it takes 54. It can travel 54 kilometers in 60 minutes. It can travel 54 kilometers in 60 minutes. But the same bus, it will travel only 45 kilometers if it stops in between. So for how many minutes does the bus stop per hour is the question. So very easily we could say the difference creator is that 54 minus 45, which is equal to 9 kilometers. That 9 kilometers per hour is the actual difference creator, which means if the bus had not stopped in any place, it would have traveled that 9 kilometers extra. But here, because it stopped in different places, it travels that 9 kilometers lesser. So this 9 kilometer, I could very easily say or safely say that 9 kilometers distance that has to be traveled by the bus is missed out because of the stoppage. It's missed out because of the stoppage. So we could very easily get to the answer by saying by seeing how many how many minutes does it take for the bus to travel 9 kilometers? So we know 54 kilometers it can travel in 60 minutes, which means 9 into 6. Here it will take the same thing in minutes. If I take it, split it as 6 parts, for every 10 minutes it goes 9 kilometers. For every 10 minutes I can say it goes 9 kilometers. So the actual problem creator is that 9 kilometers, which is the problem. So my answer is going to be 10 minutes, which is lost due to stoppage. That is one way of doing this problem. Or all that I'm trying to do in this technique is like I'm trying to find the actual difference which is created here. Instead of 54, it goes only 45, which means 9 kilometers is lost in an hour due to stoppage. So that 9 kilometers, how long does it take to go that 9 kilometers is going to be the question. So it takes that 10 minutes to travel that distance. That is one way of doing it. Or the other way of doing it, the same problem can be done is 54 kilometers it can go naturally if it goes without stoppage, which means the speed of the bus is going to be 54 kilometers per hour. So 54 kilometers in 60 minutes. If the same thing, if it travels only 45 kilometers, how much time does it take? So 54 kilometers in 60 minutes means for 45 kilometers, how much distance does it take? So how much time does it take? The time that is taken going to be the time that is traveled by the bus. The other time is all going to be stoppage. So it is going to be 45 into 60 divided by 54, which is nothing but 50 minutes. For it to travel that 45 kilometers, it has taken 50 minutes. So instead of 60 minutes, it takes 50 minutes, which means how many minutes is lost? 10 minutes is lost. 10 minutes is lost due to stoppage. That is your answer. So the next question. Walking at the rate of 4 kilometers per hour, a man covers a certain distance in 2.5 hours. Running at the same speed at 20 kilometers, say running at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour, the man will cover the same distance in. So we know 4 kilometers per hour. He travels 4 kilometers per hour. So if he travels 4 kilometers in 1 hour, in 2.5 hours, so 2.5 hours, how much does he travel? So it's simple, it's nothing but 10 kilometers he can travel. So this distance has to be traveled in 20 kilometers per hour speed. So the speed is going to be 20 kilometers per hour. So then for 10 kilometers, how long does it take? So it is going to be half an hour. Just cross multiply 10 divided by 20, which is nothing but 0.5 hours. 0.5 hours is nothing but half an hour, 30 minutes. That's your answer. So the next question. So the next question here is two trains starting at the same time from two stations 200 kilometers apart going in opposite direction cross each other at a distance of 130 kilometers from one of the stations. What is the ratio of their speeds? So it's very clear in this question. Two trains, both are traveling in opposite direction, which means one travels this way, the other comes this way. So both are traveling in opposite direction. I'm sorry, the other comes this way. So I could very easily say one travels this way, the other one goes the other way around. The other one goes the other way around. So both are going in opposite direction. Their question is going to be how long does it take for if it is 200 kilometers apart and opposite direction cross each other at a distance of 130 kilometers from one of the stations. So if it travels at 130 kilometers at one of the stations, we can very easily say if one train travels this, I mean the entire distance is going to be 200 kilometers and one train meets the other train at 130 kilometers. 130 kilometers it meets, which means this had traveled from point, let's assume A to B. So from B to, the train that is traveling from B to A, it has traveled at 130 kilometers by the time it meets. Then from A to B, it would have traveled how many kilometers? 70 kilometers, because it's totally going to be, they're meeting at that point. So if it is going to be 130 kilometers from B to, in between 130 kilometers towards A, from B towards A, if it is meeting at 130, then we should understand from A towards B, it would have gone only 70 kilometers because they're meeting. So they would have traveled that 200 kilometers. Only then we can meet, because 200 kilometers is the distance. If one train starts from B and the other train starts from A, the distance between them is 200. Both will meet at a point where that 200 kilometers is covered. So if that is when they can meet, so if that is the case, if one of the train is traveling that 130 kilometers, the other train should have traveled that 70 kilometers pending. So their speeds should be in the ratio 130 is to 70, which is nothing but 13:7. A very simple question through logic. So the next question, if the side of a square is increased by 10%, then boy, the area of the square will be increased by. So it's very simple, 10%. 10% is nothing but 1 by 10. So 1 by 10. So 1 by 10 is nothing but 10% increased. Instead of 10 parts, one part is getting increased. 10 will become 11. Again, the area of the square is increased by 10%. So we know the area is nothing but two sides together. So twice it is getting increased. So which means 10 into 10 is 100. 11 to 11 is 121. So totally, instead of 100, we get 121. That is a 21 percentage raise. So increase in the area would be 21%. The side of a square is increased by 10%. The area of the square will be increased by is the question. So if that is the case, if the side is increased by 10%, so we know since it's having two sides, it will get increased two times. 10 becomes 11, 10 becomes 11. So it becomes 100 becomes 121. The other technique that we could use here is going to be 10% increase. So we could still say that there is a 10% increase can be written as, if we don't know the area of it, so instead of 100%, the side would be increased by 110 by, it become 110 by 100. The other side is also going to be 110 by 100. So our value is going to be 110 by 100 into 110 by 100. So very simple technique. All that we have to do is, the answer that we get is 121 by 100, which is nothing but, instead of 100, the ratio has become 121. Instead of 100, it gets 121. So there is a 21% raise in the area, which is not present in the option. So our answer is none. A very simple technique. So next question. Population of a country is 15,000. It's increased by 20% in the first year and second year, first and second year. Then the population of the country after 2 years is. Again, it's a successive percentage question. That's a 20% raise. So 20% is nothing but 1 by 5. So out of total of 5 parts, there's a 1 part increase. So 5 becomes 6. Again 5 becomes 6. Many may have this question. Why should I get 5 becomes 6? Then again it will become 6 becomes 7. If I say 6 becomes 7, it will be an increase of 1 on 6. 1 on 6 is nothing but 16.67% increase. But here it's 20% increase. Then we'll have to say 1 on 5 only gives you the 20% raise. So since it's happening twice, we write it as 5 becomes 6, 5 becomes 6. So we do it 2 times. So it is nothing but 5 into 5 is 25 here. Here 6 into 6 becomes 36. But as per question, it is 15,000. The population is actually 15,000, which means this area is 15,000 and this area is the question. So we know 25 becomes 36. And as per the question, it is going to be 15,000. So 25 into 6 gives us 150. Similarly, we can do 36 into 6 gives us 216. So then 150 becomes 216. As per question is 15,000. So we just add 2 zeros to this. 15,000 becomes 21600. A very simple question. Again the same technique. No simple, nothing to be worried about. A very simple technique but very easy to use. So we can also use the other technique here. It's 20% increase. We could still say 120 by 100. There is an increase. Again 120 by 100 from the actual value. The actual value is nothing but 15,000. 15,000 is your 100%. It's getting increased by 20%. So that's why we put 120 by 100, 120 by 100. So we just do this cross again 0 0 0 0 is gone. So we put it as 12 into 12 is 144. 144 into 150. 144 into 150 gives us the answer, which is nothing but 0. And 144 into 10 is 1440. 5 into 144 is nothing but 720. So 1440 plus 720 gives you the answer is 062,160. Again 21600. So the same answer is what we get. Any of the techniques can be applied. So let's get on to the next question. A man spends 10% of his monthly salary on petrol, 20% on grocery, 5% on television recharge. If he is left with 15,000, if he is left with rupees 52,000, what is his actual salary? Is a question. So a man's salary, we're not sure, but they've told this, we're not sure about his salary, but in that 10% is spent on petrol. So 10% is spent on petrol, 20% on grocery. They've not told the remaining salary. He's not missed out with the remaining salary. They've told the total salary out of which 10% is taken out monthly on petrol. And from the total salary, 20% is taken out on grocery. And from the total salary, 5% is taken on television. So in total, he has lost 10 plus 20 plus 5, which is nothing but 35% of the salary is out. So instead of 100 out of 100 percentage, he's lost 35 percentage. So which means he's left with only, which is equal to, he's having only 65 percentage in his hand. So he's left with 65 percentage. The amount that is got in 65 percentage is 52,000. The question is, what is his actual salary? Actual salary is 100%. 100% is what? So 65 percentage is 52,000. Then 100 percentage is what is the question? So it is very simple. All that we have to do is 100 into 52,000 divided by 65. So we get 5, we get 4 here. So our answer is going to be 25. 25 into 4 is nothing but 100, 100 and 3 zeros. 100 and 3 zeros is nothing but 1 lakh. The salary of his is nothing but 1 lakh. So here it's no remaining. They've just told from the total salary, 10% is removed, 20% is removed, 5% is removed. So totally 35% of his salary is removed on his spending or expenditure, and the remaining is what he saved. That is 52,000. So the next question. 40% of 7,500 is equal to dash percentage of 9,000. So 40% can be written as 2 by 5, or instead we can put it as 40% itself. So 2 by 5 of 7,500 is nothing but 15 into 2 is 3,000. So 3,000 is what percentage of 9,000? So 3,000 is what percentage of 9,000? All that we could say is zeros are getting cancelled. 3 by 9 is nothing but 1 by 3. Into 100 we put the percentage, we get 1 by 3. We all know that it's 33.33%. So answer is 33.33. Next question. A man uses 20% more petrol every day. If the petrol normally lasts for 12 days, his extra consumption of petrol will make the petrol last for how many days? So a man normally uses his normal usage of the petrol gives him for 12 days. But if he uses 20% every day more, then the petrol will last for how many days is the question. So simple. So we know this is on the technique which we've already used. There's an increase, there should be a reduction on the other side. So because the constant, the money that he spent is going to be constant. He's not spending extra because he's using 20% extra. He's not spending more money on petrol. With the petrol that he has itself, he is going to see how many days it's going to last. So which means the right side is going to be constant. These kind of problems, we know the petrol is increased by 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 usage is increased. So automatically the number of days will be reduced to 1. 1 will be the same. The denominator will be, there's an increase. So 1 plus 5 is 6. 1/6 of the consumption. The number of days will get reduced. So the number of days, actual days is 12. So if it is 1/6 of it gets reduced, it's going to be 2 days reduction. So the petrol will last for how many days? 12 minus 2, which is nothing but 10 days. Not more than that. It's going to be lasting only for 10 days. So the next question. How many ways can 5 keys be put in a ring is your question. So we know if it has to be put in a ring, we know it would be circular, more like a circular arrangement. But here we are talking about a ring. So since we are talking about a ring, we know rings are normally working this way. We know it's circular permutation. Circular permutation, we know if it is circular arrangements, we don't have a starting point. So normally 5 keys can be put in 4 factorial ways it can be arranged normally. But here there's another problem where because it's keys here, we don't have a clockwise and anti-clockwise movement here. We don't have a clockwise and anti-clockwise movement here. It is going to be staying in the same position. So since we don't have a clockwise and anti-clockwise direction here, so our answer is going to be 4 factorial divided by 2. Normally, if it is a table or a chair, we have a clockwise and anti-clockwise movement. So we can say that can be counted, taken into count. Here, we don't have a clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. So it's going to be 4 factorial divided by 2. That is going to be the arrangement. There's not going to be one more arrangement as such. We can't say it as 4 factorial. We know its circular arrangement is going to be 5 keys means it's going to be 4 factorial. Again, since we don't have a north anti-clockwise clockwise direction movement, so we put it as 4 factorial divided by 2. A very simple technique. Next question. How many ways can be arranged? The words can be arranged by rearranging the letters of the word ascent such that A and T occupy the first and the last position. So A is the first position, And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 letters in between, and T the last position. So these two are fixed. So this can be filled in one way only. This can also be occupied only in one way. But these four SCEN can be arranged in SCEN can be arranged in how many ways? So we know, so four letters, it can be arranged four factorial ways. It can be SEN, SECN, SNEC, or CESN, CNES. So it goes on various arrangements. Since there's four letters, they can arrange in four factorial ways, which is nothing but 24 ways. So very simple question. So next one, how many, there are 15 persons in a group. They have to handshake to each other. Find the number of handshakes possible. So, so since since there are, let's take it for example, uh, if it is going to be, okay, how many people are going to take handshake? If it is going to be, instead of 15 people, we'll take it as 4 people in a group. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the arrangement is going to be very simple. How are we going to get the arrangement here? So the first person shakes hand with, this person can shake hand with second person, that is one handshake, and to the third person there's another handshake, to the fourth person there's another handshake. So there'll be, first person itself gives you 3 handshakes. The second person, we know 1 and 2 is already taken into account. So 2 and 1 need not be taken into account. So this can be taken out. So 2 and 3 is something new because 1 and 3 we've counted, but 2 and 3 we've not counted. So that is one handshake. And 2 and 4 is again a new handshake because we've taken 3 and 4 into account, but not 2 into 4. I mean, so we've taken 1 and 4 into account, but not 2 and 4. So it's another handshake. So it's going to be 2 handshakes. Now 3 and 4. 3 and 4, again, when third person, the new handshake that he's going to have is already shaken hands with 1 and 2. That is already taken into account. And 3 comma 4 is what we have not taken into account. So that is one arrangement. 4 is already had shake hands with 1 or 2 or 3. And so all the arrangements for 4 is taken into account. So the answer is going to be 3 into 2 into 1. 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is going to be 6 handshakes. For 4 people, we get 6 handshakes. So this can be taken as, so for 4 people, 6 handshakes, we can take it as 4 into 3, which is nothing but the previous number, divided by 2, gives you the answer as 6. 4, the previous number, into 3, previous number is 3, divided by 2 gives you the value as 2. 6, that is your answer that we've got. Similarly, here, since there are 15 people, so our handshakes are going to be 15 into 14 divided by 2. So answer is going to be 105 handshakes. This is a various steps. This can be done with, for 15 people, the first person gives you 14 handshakes. If you still have it out, we could still do this method. First person will have 14 handshakes. Second person will be 13. The second person will have 13, and the third person will have 12 and 11, then 10, then 9. It goes on like this. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So when we sum all of them together, 14 plus 13 is 27. We get 39. Then we get 50, 60, 69, 77, 84, 90, 95, 99, 102, 104, 105. A very simple technique that can be done with 15 into 14. The number of things, the number of people are present. So minus 1 divided by 2. So it is not, that gives you the answer here. So that can be done through this method also. So the next question, the logic is simple as I mentioned. So the next question here is 15. If the letters of the word SACHIN are arranged in all possible ways, these words are written in dictionary order, then the word SACHIN appears as a serial number. The question is, serial number is the question. So SACHIN should be arranged in what arrangement? So it's in dictionary order, which means it's going to be alphabetical order. So we have a A here. The first A arrangements would be first. Then we have C here. Then we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So H is another arrangement that we have. Then H, I. I is another arrangement. Then we get N arrangements. Then we get S. That's the question. So before we come to S itself, Sachin itself, Sachin is going to be at the last. This is S. We know it starts with A. And A, with A, how many letters can be formed? Because it's a 6-letter word. If we fix the first letter as A, the other 5 letters can arrange in 5 factorial ways. That is, C, S, H, I, N can arrange in 5 factorial ways. Similarly, C can also do that arrangement in 5 factorial ways. Similarly, with H also we'll have 5 factorial arrangements. And also with I we'll have 5 factorial arrangements. With N we'll have 5 factorial arrangements, which gives you 120 plus 5 factorial is nothing but 120. So 120 into 5 is what we get before we get into such S itself. So which means 600 arrangements is possible. The next one is going to be 600 arrangements are already there. The next letter is going to be starting with S. So the first letter is getting fixed. According to alphabetical order, we take the next letter. The next letter is going to be A, and we've got it naturally. Then alphabetical order, we get the next letter as C, that is also there. That is also naturally falling in the alphabetical order. The next letter is going to be H, that is also falling in the alphabetical order. Then is I and N. So it is going to be falling in the alphabetical order. 600 words before S itself is formed, and 601st word would be SACHIN, because 601st word is what it gives you the alphabetical arrangement itself. So our answer is 601 for this question. So next question, suppose 7 students are studying in a hostel. They are allotted 7 beds. Among them, 7 students are staying in a hostel. They are allotted 7 beds. Among them, Pravin does not want a bed next to Anju because Anju snores. Then in how many ways can you allot the beds? So there are 7 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we know a couple of people don't want to sleep next to each other. Among them, Pravin does not want to sleep next to the other person, which means 2 people does not want to sleep next to the other person. So which means if I take this bed cannot be occupied by uh, Anju, and Pravin does not want to occupy that area, which means apart from them, the other 5 people can occupy that area. So it is going to be 5 ways this can be filled. So the first bed, among them, Pravin does not want a bed next to Anju because Anju snores. So which means that place need not be occupied by Pravin, or Anju doesn't want to occupy, because when this person is there, the other person doesn't want to take that place. So it is going to be 5 ways it can be occupied. The other 5 people, any of them can be occupying that. But apart from that, there's no other uh, uh, the other questions which are coming into picture. That is like they've not spoke about anyone else. So there are 6 other bets which are possibly present here. So that can be taken in 6 factorial ways. So 6 factorial into 5 is going to be our answer, which is nothing but 3600. So it's a very simple technique. So the answer for this is 5 into 6 factorial, which is nothing but 3600. So let's get on to the next question. Two numbers are respectively 20% and 50% more than a third number. The ratio of the two numbers is, so the third number, if it is going to be 100, the two numbers which is 20%, the first number is 20% more than the last number, and second number, if it is 100, the first number is going to be 120 because it's 20% more than the last number. The second number is 50% more than that. If it is 100, it's going to be 150. The question is the ratio of the two numbers is, which means the first and the second. So it is nothing but 120 is to 150, which is nothing but 4 is to 5. A very simple question. So next one. A sum of rupees 312 was divided among 100 boys. So in such and girls in such a way, the boys and girls, 100 boys and girls in such a way that boy gets 3.60 per, and each girl gets 2.40, and 312 divides among 100 people, it's 3.12. So what is the ratio of it? Just nothing but 0.48 is to 0.72. So why do I get it as 3.12 is 3.60 is for boys and 2.40 is for girls. That 3.12 is the average for both boys and girls. So that we've taken as the middle value. So that is in allegations. So if we take it as allegations, we get it as 0.72 is to 0.48. So 0.72 into 0.48 is to 0.48 is nothing but 72 is to 48, which is nothing but 3 is to 2. So 3 is to 2 is totally 3 plus 2 is 5 parts. 3 plus 2 is 5 parts. That 5 parts is going to be how many people? 5 parts is equal to 100 people. So the question is number of girls here. So the number of girls here is going to be, we know each girl gets 2.40. We know 2 parts is going to be girls. So 5 parts is 100. Then 1 part is equal to 20. Then 2 parts is equal to 40. So 40 girls are involved in doing the job. So 40 girls are getting divided among this. So very simple question. The sum of rupees, if I'll give you a better explanation now. That is, a sum of 312 was divided among 100 boys and girls. So which means 312 is divided among 100 people. So each one gets 3.12 at an average. So we know boys are getting 3.60 and girls are getting 2.40. Then the average is 3.12. So what ratio they're split? So the ratio is going to be 0.48 is to 0.72 here. This is for boys and this is for girls. So the ratio is nothing but 0.72 is to 0.48 is 3 is to 2 in 24th table. So 3 is to 2 is nothing but 5 parts. Totally it's 3 plus 2 is 5 parts. 5 parts is 100 people. Then 1 part is equal to 20. 1 part is equal to 20. Then the number of girls is going to be 2 parts of them. So it is nothing but 2 into 20. So which is nothing but 40 for us. So 40 girls are present. Next question. A sum of 3 numbers is 98. If the ratio of the first and the second is 2 is to 3 and the second and third is 5 is to 8, then the second number is. So we know the first and the second ratio is 2 is to 3 and the second and the third ratio is 5 is to 8. So the ratio between them is going to be 15. I'm just taking it as 1 and 2. This is 1 and 2. This is 2 and 3. So we know 2 is common among both. So I'm just multiplying both these numbers. So 3 into 5 is 15. This 15 is 3 parts in the first. That is A is to B is 3 parts is 15. Then 2 parts is A. 2 parts is going to be 3 parts is 15 means 1 part is 5. And 2 parts gives you 10. So A is going to be 10. In the second one, second is 5 parts. So 5 parts is 15 here. 5 parts is 15 means 8 parts is going to be 5 into 3 is 15. Then 8 into 3 is 24. So totally we have 24 plus 15 is 39. 39 plus 10 is 49 parts. So 49 parts is the total and that is going to be 98 rupees. So the sum of 98. The sum of 3 numbers is 98. So 49 parts is 98. Then 1 part is equal to 2. So if it is 1 part is equal to rupees 2, then the is 2. Then the second number is their question. The second number is nothing but 15 parts. So 1 part is 2, then 15 parts is going to be 15 into 2, which is nothing but 30. So that is the answer for the 23rd question. So the next question. Pencils, pens and exercise books in a shop are in the ratio 10 is to 2 is to 3. If there are 120 pencils, the number of exercise books is. So we know pencils, pens, pencils, pens and exercise books are there and they are in the ratio 10 is to 2 is to 3 and we know 120 pencils are present. So 120 is here. So the number of exercise book is, we know 10 into 12 is 120, then 3 into 12 will give you this answer. That's nothing but 36. Very basic and a direct question. So answer is 36. Next question. So A and B invest rupees 8,000 and 9,000 in a business. After 4 months, A withdraws half of his capital and 2 months later, B withdraws 1/3 of his capital. So in what ratio should they share the profits at the end of the year is their question. So A and B invest rupees 8,000, 9,000 in a business. So they're investing 8 and 9 in a business. So which means 8, I'll take it as 8 and 9 itself instead of thousands. So A is 8 and B is 9. So after 4 months, which means for 4 months, he invests 8 into 4. For 4 months, he invests for 8, 8, 8. So he gets 32. And A withdraws half of his capital. So A withdraws half of his capital means, so his capital becomes, instead of 8, it becomes 4. And it stays till the end of the year. So the end of the year is going to be 8 more months. So it's 4 into 8 is nothing but 32. So we get 64. We get 64 for a year. That is his investment. That is A's investment. A withdraws half of his salary and capital and 2 months later B withdraws 1/3 of his capital. So B, what B does is he invests, his investment is going to be 9,000. We know that his investment is going to be 9,000. So he invests 9 and for 6 months he invests as 9. So it's going to be 54 and because he says 2 months later. 2 months later is nothing but after 4 months. After that, it takes 2 months later. 4 months, A withdraws half of his capital and 2 months later, which means from there, 2 months later, it's going to be 6 months. So 6 months, he's paying 54 After that, B withdraws one third of the salary. So one third is nothing but one third of 9 is nothing but 3. He gives you only 3. So he gives you 3 into 6 gives you 18. So he gives you 72. So the question is, in what ratio they share the profits at the end of the year? The profit at the end of the year is going to be 8 is to 9, but which is not present in any of the options here. So which is not present in any of the options. 30 play. So 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 they would share their capital in the ratio 8 is to 9, but which is not present in the option. So the answer for this should be 8 is to 9. So let's get on to the next question. A sum of rupees 427 is divided among A, B, C such that 3 times A's share is 4 times B's share and 7 times C's share are all equal. The share of C is. So we're not sure what is their share, but they're all equal. They've said A's share 3 times is B's share 4 times and C shares 7 times are equal. So we're not sure what is the amount. So what I do is I take LCM for all the three numbers and I take that as the share, equal share. So which is 3 into 4 is 12, 12 into 7 is 84. So I take 84 is A, B, C, 3 times A share. I take 84 as 3 times A share and 4 times B share and 7 times C share. So 84 is 3 times A share. So 3 times A share means, so 3x is 84. So x value, that is A share, is going to be 28. Similarly, 84 is going to be 4 times B share. So 84 divided by is equal to 4 times B share, which gives you B share is going to be 21. Similarly, 84 is going to be 7 times C share. It's going to be C is going to be 12. So, so they are in the ratio 28 plus 12. So all three put together, we get 8. A is 28, B is 21, C is 12. So we get it as 40, 40, 61. 61 is what we get it as each person's share. That is, one part is going to be 61. So we get 61 parts here, and 61 parts put together is rupees 427. They've told the total sum is 427. So their total contribution is to 61 parts. So we know 28 plus 21 plus 12 gives you 61 parts. So 61 parts is 427. Then one part's value will become 7. So one part's value is going to be 7. If it is one part is 7, the question is the share of C is. So share of C is going to be 12 parts. So 12 parts is nothing but 12 into 7, which is nothing but 84. The question. Very simple question. Again, they've told 3 times A share is 4 times B share and 7 times C share. So they don't given you what is the value. So I'm taking my own value, that is through LCM. I take the value as 3 into 4 into 7, which is nothing but 84. So 84 is 3 times A share. So 3 times A share means then A's value is going to be, A is nothing but 84 by 3, which is 28. Then B share is 4 times, 84 is 4 times B share. So B is going to be 21 and C is 7 times C share. So 7 into something is 84. So C share is 12. So their ratio is 28 is to 21 is to 12, and then that is the ratio. Then the total parts is going to be, adding all these things gives you 61 parts. So the 61 parts is 427. Then one part's value is 7. So they're asking you for C's value. C is 12 parts. So 12 into 7 is 84. The salaries of A, B, C are in the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 3. The salary of B and C together is 6,000. By what percentage is C more than that of A? So we know A, B, C shares are in the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 3. So A is to B is to C is 1 is to 2 is to 3. Then their question is, salary of B and C together is rupees 6,000, which means B and C is totally giving you 2 plus 3 is 5 parts. That 5 parts value is going to be 6,000. 5 parts is 6,000, then one part is equal to 1,200. If one part is 1,200, by what percentage is the salary of C more than that of A, is their question. Salary of C is how many percentage more than that of A. With this year itself, we could very easily say, either we could multiply one part is A is 1,200, B is 2,400, C is 3,600, or with the ratio itself we could say A is only one part and C is 3 parts, which means 3 times of A gives you C. So C is more than A by 2 parts. So 2 parts and A is only one part. So which is going to be, it is, if A is going to be 100 percentage, then C is going to be 300 percentage. So B, C, C, By what percentage the salary of C? C is going to be 200% more than that of A, because if A is 100%, C is going to be 300%. With this, it's very clear. So if that is the case, then 200% is more for C compared to A. A very simple technique again. So the next question, A amounts to 500 amounts to 583.20 in 1 year if compounded half yearly. They've told it's compounded half yearly. Find the rate of interest per annum. So we know rate of interest per annum. We're not sure what is the rate of interest, but we could still use the same technique. That is, for 500 it becomes 583.20. So what I could do is either find 500. It is from 500 it's gone to 83.20 extra, which means 83.20 is how many percentage of 500 is what we could find out. So it gives us the answer as 16 point, it gives us the answer as compounded half yearly. So it gives us the answer as 83 divided by 5 gives you 16.64 percentage. So 16.64 percentage is what we get. It's because it is reason why we get it as 16.64 percentage is because the it is compounded half yearly. So any interest 16.64 is nothing but 8%, which is compounded half yearly. That is when we get 16.64%. 8 plus 8 plus 8 into 8 by 100, that gives you 16.64. So it is 8%, which is compounded half yearly. So the total rate percentage would be 16% for a year. That is one method of doing it. So that can give us the answer very easily. Or else that 16% is what it's divided as 8%, 8%. That's why you get 16.64. Or else the other method of doing it here is even more simpler. Instead of calculating this way, we could do it as for 500 it becomes 583.20. Then for 1000, which is into 2, we get what? 500 into 2 gives us 1000. For 500 into 2 gives us 1000. For 1000, it will become 583.2 into 2. So it gives you 1166.4. So for 1000 it becomes 1166.4, which is nothing but 1000 becomes 1166.4, which is nothing but 16.64 percentage. For 100 it would become 116.64, which means 16.64 more than the actual percentage. So 16.64 is because it's 8% and 8% half yearly. So totally for a year it's only going to be, in a year if it is only 16%, it's dividing as 8% and 8% half yearly. So the percentage would be 16%. So the answer here is 16%. So next question. The sum of money doubles itself at compound interest in 3 years. In how many years will it become 64 times itself? So in compound interest, a very simple technique, if it gets doubled, sum of money doubles itself in 3 years. So doubles in 3 years means if it has to become 64 times itself. 64 times is nothing but 2 into 2 is giving you 4. So when I multiply by 2, I can just add 3. I mean, the number of years again becomes 3 years. So 4 times becomes 6 years. Again, if it is into 2, again I add 3 here. So it is going to be 8 is going to be 9 years. Again, into 2, into 2, into 2. That is giving you 64. 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into 2 is 8, 8 into 2 is 16, 16 into 2 is 32, 32 into 2 is 64. So for it to become 64 times, how many times I have multiplied? 2 into 6 times I have multiplied 2. Similarly, 6 times we'll have to just add 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So the number of years it's going to be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is going to be 6 into 3, which is nothing but 18 years. So the number of times we multiply that number to get, for 2 times it becomes 3 years. So for 64 times, which is nothing but 2 power 6. Because we put 2 power 6 here, we'll have to multiply this 3 years into 6. So 3 into 6 is 18. Or else we just add it 6 times. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So that is how we get it. So our next question. A garrison of 200 men has provisions for 54 days. It has provisions for 54 days. At the end of 15 days, a reinforcement arrives. It is now found that the provisions will last only for 20 more days. What is the reinforcement? Reinforcement is like addition of members. So a garrison has a place as 200 men, of 2,000 men, has provisions for 54 days. For 54 days, they have food. For 15 days, there's no disturbance at all, which means if this if there was no disturbance, it would have still come for another 39 days, which means 15 days no disturbance plus another 39 days would have got 54 days. But 15 days there was no disturbance, so we're not bothered about the 15 days. So it should be lasting for 39 days. If there was 2000 people, it would have lasted for 39 more days because 54 minus 15, 15 which is no disturbance at all. So it would have lasted for 39 days. But it lasts only for 20 more days because there was a reinforcement. It lasts only for 20 more days. There was new members who got added because of which we got only for 20 more days. So for 20 more days, how many people should have had? It is because more people came into the picture. We have only for 20 more days. So how many people came into the picture is the question. So very easily we could do 2000. If it was 2000 people, it would have been for 39 days. Then for 20 days, how many people were there? So all that we have to do is directly multiply. So it is nothing but 2000 into 39 by 20. So our answer would have been 3900. So because 3900 people were having food, it lasted only for it lasted only for 20 days. So 3900 means 2000 people were already present. Along with that, there were 1900 who had got extra. That reinforcement is the question. The reinforcement is nothing but 3900 minus 2000. Our answer is going to be 1900. So 1900 people came in extra. 1900 people came in extra. So nothing more than that. So next question. A takes twice as much as time as B or thrice as much as time to finish a piece of work. Working together, they can finish the work in 2 days. B can do the same work alone in is their question. So A takes twice as much as time as B. So A and or thrice as much as time as to finish two piece of okay or thrice as much as time to finish a piece of work as C. It should be C. Okay, C is not present here. It should be C here. So there are three people A, B, C. A takes twice as much as time as B or thrice as much as time as C. So which means if C is going to be 1, let's take it as 2 because it's all talking about even. So C takes 2 hours to finish the work. A takes twice as time as B and thrice as time as C. So A takes 6. If A takes 6 hours to finish the work, B takes twice, A takes twice the time of B. So which means B would take only 3 hours. Because B is taking 3 hours, A takes twice the time, so it's 6 hours. And thrice the time of C. Thrice the time of C, that's why it's 2 into 3, 6 hours. So working together, they can finish the work in 2 days. So all three has to work together. So the days is going to be 6 days, 3 days, and 2 days. So I take LCM here. 6 is my LCM. So if that is the case, A can finish 6 units in 6 days. I'll find 6 units is my work. So my work is 6 units. I'm taking LCM and I'm considering that as my work, total work. So my total work is 6 units and A can finish it in 6 days, which means A can finish 1 unit per day, and B can finish it in 3 days, which means B can finish 2 units per day, and C can finish in 2 days, it's going to be 3 units per day. So that is the case. Working together, they can finish it in 2 days. So all three working together, they can finish it in 2 days is their question. So if all three are working together, which means 1 plus 2 plus 3, so which is nothing but if they finish all three work together, they can finish in 2 days. So all three finish together. If 6 is their efficiency, they can finish it in 2 days. Then the question is if B alone finish it. So B's efficiency is only 2. It can finish in how many days or how many hours is the question. If 6 is the efficiency, they can finish it in 2 hours. But the efficiency is only 2 because they're talking about B. So the number of hours it takes is 6. The number of efficiency is dropped, so the number of days will increase. So our answer would be 6 into 2 divided by 2. So answer is going to be 6 hours only. So answer is 6 hours. Next question. A shopkeeper has 50 kg of rice. Out of that, he gains 8%. He sells some of at 8% gain, the rest at 18% gain, and sells 12% in all. So it is 8% gain on one side, 18% gain on the other side, 12% as a whole he gets as a gain. So find the amount find the amount of rice sold at 8%. So it's very clear here. It's 4 here. It's 6. So the ratio is going to be 3:2. 3 is to 2. It is through alligation. 3 is to 2 is the total. So totally we have 3 is to 2 is nothing but 5 parts. That 5 parts is nothing but 50 kg. So 5 parts is 50 kg. Then 8% gain is going to be 3 parts, which is 30 kg. And 18% gain is nothing but 2 parts, which is 20 kg. Their question is find the amount sold at 8% gain. So 8% gain is nothing but 30 kg. Next question. A businessman has 50 kg of rice, a part of which he sells at 10% profit, the rest at 5% loss. He gains 4% on the whole. Find the quantity of rice sold at 5% loss. So we're not sure what is the gain. They're talking about gain and loss here. So I don't want to confuse. So we know profit is anything more than 100%. So I'll take it as 110% profit. 110% because 100% is investment, 10% profit. So he's got 110% on one side. Another side, he's got 5% loss, which means 100 minus 5, which is nothing but he's got only 95%. As a whole, he gains 4%. So 4% is 104%. So 104%. So the ratio that he gets is going to be 6 year and 9 years. So the ratio is nothing but 3 is to 2. The profit is going to be the ratio in which the divided is 3 is to 2. So totally is giving you 3 plus 2 is nothing but 5 parts. That 5 parts is 50 kg. 5 parts is equal to 50 kg. Their question is find the quantity of 5 parts of 50 kg, then 1 part is equal to 10 kg. So find the quantity of rice sold at 5% loss. So the 5% loss is nothing but the 2 parts. So 1 part is 10 kg, then 2 parts is going to be the total. Find the 2 parts is what it is sold at 5% loss. The 2 parts is nothing but 1 part is 10 kg, then 2 parts is 20 kgs. So the next question. If 76 is divided among 4 proportions, 4 parts proportional to 7 is to 5 is to 3 is to 4. So it's going to be 7 plus 5 plus 3 plus 4. It's given in 4 proportions. So totally we get 7, 7, 14, 19 parts. So 19 parts is nothing but 76. Then 1 part is equal to 4. So 19 parts is 76. Then 1 part is equal to 4. Then the smallest part is their question. The smallest part is nothing but this 3 parts. The 3 parts value would become 1 part is 4. Then 3 parts value is 3 into 4 is nothing but 12. So our answer for this question is 12. Next question. In a college, the ratio of number of boys to girls is 8 is to 5. If there are 160 girls, so 8 is to 5 is the ratio, and there are 160 girls. So boys here, and this is girls, and girls is 5 parts is 160. The total number of students is their question. So total number of students here is 8 plus 5 is 13 parts. So we know 5 parts value is going to be 160, the total number of girls. Then total number of parts is 13 parts. 13 parts is how much? So nothing but 5 cross multiply 13 into 160 divided by 5, which is nothing but 416. 416 is the total number of people. A very simple question. So we have one question pending, that is, I believe that is question number 7. So we'll get back to that question and we'll end this session now. So the 7th question here is, a train can travel at 50% faster than a car. Both start from point A at the same time and reach point B 75 kilometers away from A at the same time. On the way, however, the train lost about 12.5 minutes while stopping at the station. The speed of the car is. Very simple. There's a train here, there's another car here. It's 50%. The train is 50% faster than the car, which means 50% is nothing but 1 by 2. It is 1 by 2 faster. So if the train is 1 by 2 faster, we know train is going to be speed of the train is 1 by 2 faster. Then the time taken by this train will be 1 by 3 lesser. 1 plus 2 is 3. We know 1 by 3 it should be lesser. The time taken by the train should be 1 by 3 lesser. But as per question they've told both have reached at the same time, which means there is something which is a problem. So here it's very clearly indicated. We know the train should reach early because the speed of the train is much faster, and we know 1/3 of the time should be saved by the train. But the train is not saving anything because both are reaching at the same time, which is given here. So that 1/3 of the time which is lost is over. Train is lost in 12.5 minutes while stopping at the stations, which means the train is lost in stoppages. That 1/3 of the time is what it is lost. That is why they both are reaching at the same time. Then 1/3 of the time is 12.5, which means out of 3 parts, 1 part's value is 12.5. then 3 parts value will become 37.5. So the total time traveled by the train is going to be 37.5. So it travels 37.5 minutes. It travels how many kilometers? 75 kilometers. As per question, it travels 75 kilometers. So 37.5, in 37.5 minutes, the train travels 37.5 minutes. The train travels 75 kilometers, which is nothing but 37.5 into 2, which means it travels at, for every minute it goes 2 kilometers. That is what it means. So for every minute it travels 2 kilometers. So since we know speed is calculated kilometers per hour, it's known for 60 minutes is what we calculate. So the time taken here is going to be 60 minutes by the train. For 60 minutes it travels 120 kilometers. That is going to be the speed of the train. But here they've asked you for the speed of the car. And we know the train is traveling 50% faster than a car. Both start at the same point. The speed of the car is their question. So we know the train travels 37.5 minutes. 37.5 minutes it travels 75 kilometers. So obviously its speed should be 60 into 2, which is 120 kilometers per hour. 160, 120. So then the speed of the car is, the speed of the car should have been on the way, the speed of the car should have been 50%. It is much lesser than the train. Much lesser than the train, because the train is 50% faster than the car. So obviously, so it should be 150 percentage is 120, then 100 percentage would give you 80 kilometers per hour should be the speed of the train, speed of the car. 80 kilometers per hour should be the speed of the car. But in all sense, that should be the answer. But we'll cross check it one more time. So a train can travel 50% faster than a car. Both start from point A at the same time and reach point B 75 kilometers away from A at the same time. On the way over, the train lost 12.5 minutes. So while stopping at the station, the speed of the car is the question. So we know the speed of the car, maybe the speed of the train is 50% faster than the car. So speed is 1 by 2 more than, speed is 1 by 2 more. So the time will be 1 by 3 lesser. So the time taken by the train should be 1/3 lesser. So that 1/3 of the time which is lesser is nothing but, out of 3 parts, 1 part's value is that 12.5 minutes, because the 12.5 minutes it would have taken lesser time, because, but they've told because it stopped there, it is reached at the same time. So it's reached at the same time because the 12.5 minutes is lost due to stoppage. That one part is 12.5 minutes. Then the 3 parts is going to be the actual time, which is 37.5. 37.5 minutes is lost by the train. So 37.5 is traveled by the train. So so 37.5 minutes is traveled by the train. So the train speed is going to be 75 kilometers it travels, out of which it travels 75 kilometers it travels in 37.5 minutes. But here the traveling time of the train is only going to be 12.5 minutes lesser, which is going to be only 25 minutes it has traveled, 12.5 minutes it is lost. So which means, because 12.5 minutes is lost due to stoppage. So the speed of the train is going to be only 37.5 minus 12.5, which is going to be only 25 minutes it is traveled to travel 75 kilometers. So travel 75 kilometers, it is taken only 25 minutes, which means 25 into 3 gives you 75 kilometers. So which means for 60 minutes it would have traveled 25 minutes it travels 75 kilometers. 60 minutes, kilometers per hour is the speed. So 60 into 3 would be the speed of the train, which is nothing but 180 kilometers. So the train speed is 180 kilometers per hour. 180 kilometers per hour. So if it is 180 kilometers per hour is the speed of the train, then the speed of the car is going to be 50% lesser than 50. The train speed is 50% more than the car. So which means 150 percentage is 180, then 100 percentage will give you the speed of the car. So 100 percentage is nothing but 120 kilometers. That is going to be the speed of the car. Hope you understand this question. I'll explain you one more time. The speed of the train is 50% faster than the car. So obviously 1 by 2 of the speed is more, and the time taken is going to be 1/3 lesser. So that 1/3 lesser, that should be saved by the train. But the train unfortunately had to lose that time because of stoppage. So that 1/3 of the time is nothing but 12.5 minutes. So out of 3 parts, that 1 part's value is 12.5. then 3 parts value is 37.5. The total travel time of the train is 37.5, but here the problem is 12.5 is lost in stoppage. So the train has traveled only 25 minutes. That 25 minutes it traveled 75 kilometers. So the speed of the train will be 25 minutes it travels 75 kilometers. Then for 60 minutes how much does it travel? So 60 minutes it travels 180 kilometers. So 180 kilometers per hour should be the speed of the train. If 180 kilometers per hour is the speed of the train, the speed of the car is going to be, because the train speed is 50% more than the car speed should be 180 is 150%, then 100% will give you the speed of the car. 100% is nothing but 120 kilometers. So it's very simple that this question, it's a bit tricky to understand, but when you understand it and when you start solving it, you understand it even better, because we don't have to forget the point that the train has traveled only 25 minutes instead of 37.5 minutes. That is it. And I guess you guys had a good time solving these questions. Please do practice. Only through practice you guys can expertise in these problems. So please make sure you're making good usage and make good use of your practice time, and please come back safe. Thank you so much for your time and patience. I'll see you guys in my next video.